Hi everyone. In this video, we will discuss CCNP SDN solution book, and the code of the SDN solution is 30415. Okay. So first of all, we will discuss the benefits of having SD-WAN, and then so let's see. First, we will discuss the benefits of having SD-WAN. Okay. Then we'll discuss the topics covered in the exam. So for this CCNP certification, the exam code or the book code is 30415. So if you want to give the exam for the CCNP SD-WAN solution, so the code for the same is 30415. Then we'll discuss the SD-WAN architecture that will contain your SD-WAN components. And in the components, what we will discuss vSmart. We'll discuss what is this one, what is vSmart. Okay. We will discuss the vBond. We will discuss vManage. And finally, we'll discuss the vEdge, or we can say these are the edge devices, edge routers. So these edge devices we can use. One is vEdge and cEdge. V is nothing, V is just a Viptela, and C is Cisco, right? So we can use vEdge devices, we can use cEdge devices. We'll discuss the difference between these things, what are the difference we have here, or why we are using these things. Okay. Then we'll discuss the SD-WAN controller. Okay. So in this SD-WAN controller, basically what will happen, what we will discuss, we will discuss the orchestration plane. That is nothing here, vBond. Okay. So this is the first layer that we have in the SD-WAN. We'll discuss the first, second, third, these layers we'll discuss. Then we'll discuss management plane. It means we'll discuss about the vManage. Okay. The third thing we'll discuss, that is control plane. Again, there is nothing, that is vSmart. It means we will discuss in detail about the vSmart. And then finally, your data plane. Again, your vEdge routers. So in this video, in this first video, basically we will discuss these four things, and we'll discuss in the detail what are these components, what are these controllers, what is vSmart, vBond, vManage, vEdge devices, the orchestration plane, the management plane, the control plane, and the data plane. And we'll discuss the other things like JTP process, PNP process, and we'll discuss other things. Okay. So one by one, we'll discuss other things, all the things here, okay, that belongs to the controller and components. Okay. Now, let me start the benefits of having SD-WAN. SD-WAN benefits. Okay, so it increases the bandwidth through the activation of idle backup link and dynamic load balancing. It delivers faster cloud access by enabling DIA. What is DIA? This is your direct internet access at the branches. It reduces operational and management costs through centralized management that was commonly cloud-based. Okay, and the final one is like it lower the WAN cost through the use of cheaper internet of LTE connectivity as an alternative to MPLS. Okay, so basically let me show you a slide. In that slide, we can see the more benefits of having this SD-WAN solution. Okay. Okay, so let me note down first of all those benefits. The first we had, it increased bandwidth through the activation of idle backup link, the use of DIA, direct internet access. It reduced operational and management cost through centralized management that was commonly cloud-based, or we can say the cloud-based, right? And the last one, at lower WAN cost by using cheaper internet of LTE connectivity as an alternative to MPLS, right? Okay, so let's check this slide here. Okay, so here we can see, okay, so these are the layers we have that we will discuss, like what are these layers or how these things will go through. Okay, we can deploy this solution at any location, that is branch, co-location, that is cloud, anywhere we can deploy these things, this SDN solution. We can use any transport, satellite, internet, MPLS, 5G, LTE. So if we have any kind of transport, so yes, we can run this solution. Or any services, branch security, that is cloud security, application quality of experience, okay, the voice and collaboration. So any kind of services, right? And any deployment, on-premises, cloud, multi-tenant, single tenant. Okay, so we can use any kind of deployment here. So basically these are the benefits of having SD-WAN. Now let's discuss the next thing. So here we have the SD-WAN solution exam topics. Okay, so as I told you, the code for the book is 300-415. So whenever you want to attempt the exam, this is CCNP certification exam. So the code is 300-415. Okay, that will be your 90-minute exam for the CCNP certification. Okay, now let's take a look on the topics covered in this exam. So basically we have 6 sections. Okay, now the first section, that is your architecture. So in this whole exam, the 20% belongs to your architecture. Okay, so this architecture will contain your SD-WAN architecture and component, as I told you. Like, so first of all, in this session we will discuss only the architecture and the controller deployment. Okay, so we will, and yeah, in the component we will discuss the orchestration plane, the vBond, NAT, the management plane, that is nothing, your vManage, right? The control plane will discuss that vSmart. The data plane devices, your vEdge. So what is TLOC, IPsec, vRoute, vPteller route, BFD. Okay, so these are part of this vEdge. So basically we have 4 things right now to discuss in the detail: vBond, vManage, vSmart, and vEdge. And then in the same session, we will discuss the controller deployment. Okay, so we will deploy, so we can deploy these things on the KVM hypervisor, right? So on these things we can deploy. Now, okay, one more thing here, the WAN edge platform types. Okay, so I'll show you what are the platform types, what are the capabilities there. So as I told you, we have 2 types of edge devices. One is vEdge, one is cEdge. We'll discuss what are these things. Okay, and the controller deployment, so that is 15% weightage. Now, so in this one, as I told you, we have cloud deployment, we have on-premises deployment. So using KVM, using hypervisor, installing controllers, how these things happens, we'll discuss everything. Scalability, redundancy, how these things we can achieve. The configure and verify certificate and whitelisting, yes, we'll discuss. And the very main part, that is troubleshooting. Then the third section, that belongs to your router deployment. It means your WAN edge devices, how we can onboard the device, the orchestration with JET-TP. So this is your JET-TP, GeoTouch provisioning, plug and play, right? So we have 2 things. So using these 2 things, we can deploy the device, right? So how we can use these things, yes, definitely we'll discuss in the first section. Okay. As I told you, we have single tenant, multi-tenant, data center, regional hub. So these things, yes, we'll discuss. Okay. in the next to next sessions. Then configure and verify SD-WAN data plane. So once we have deployed the data plane devices, then we'll see what are the things that we have and what are things that we can deploy. So these things like TLOG, OMP, TLOG, and these things, everything we'll discuss in the first one, in this section. So basically this section will contain everything. Okay. So here we can discuss everything like the properties, the benefits, and the information, what are these things and how these things work, what are the connectivity, how this vBond, vManage, vSmart, vEdge devices connects to each other, and what are the structure, how these things work, everything we'll discuss here. It means after finishing this one, you will be having idea how these things works, how we can connect, and how we can deploy. The rest of things we'll discuss in the next sections. Okay. Then finally, one section for policy. This is the fourth section for the policies. Yes, these things we'll discuss. Okay, as I told you, we have the DIA, direct network access. Yes, we'll discuss how these things works. Then in the fifth section, we have security and quality of service. So I think all of you are aware with these things, the security and quality of service. So here I'll show you how we use these things, how we deploy these things on the controller, right? We do have one more thing, that is application aware firewall and application aware routing. So we have two things here, application aware routing, application aware firewall. So we'll discuss these things. Okay. And the quality of services, yes, scheduling, queuing, shaping, policing, everything we have here. Then finally, the sixth section, management and operations. So here we have like we describe monitoring, reporting from vManage, right? The same thing, the REST API monitoring, how we do these things, and finally the software upgrade. Again, even the software upgrade from the vManage, we'll discuss the theory part in the first section in the architecture. Okay, so these things, everything these things we'll discuss in the first section, but in the first section we'll discuss like the basics and the properties. These things we'll discuss. The real deployment we'll do in these sections. But yes, in the first section we'll be discussing everything, because in the SD-WAN we do have these things, and these things will contain everything. Okay, so once we done this session, you will be having idea what are these things and how these things works. Okay, so now let's start with the architecture, the components. Okay. So in architecture and component, we'll discuss four things. The first one will be your vBond. The second one will be your vManage. And then we'll discuss vSmart. And then finally, we'll discuss vEdge. So let me show you the first slide where we'll discuss the vBond, vManage, vSmart, vEdge devices, and what are the roles they have, what are the functions they have, what are the responsibilities they have, everything we'll discuss. Okay. So here we can see we have four things here. First one is, so this will be on the top always. Okay, that is vBond. Then we'll discuss vManage, vEdge, first vBond, vManage, vSmart, and then finally we'll discuss vEdge device. Okay, so basically what is vBond? This is your orchestrator plane. Okay, so basically vBond controller is largely responsible for the zero touch provisioning, that is ZTP process, as well as this is the first line authentication and control information distribution and support NAT transversal. So what happens here? So right now I told like one thing, that is first line authentication, right? So whenever we do a ZTP, so this will be the very first point where all the edge devices will authenticate and the remaining process will happen, right? So this is the very first time authentication process. All the devices will come to this vBond and will authenticate, and then the rest of the process will work. And what is the rest of the process? We'll discuss, don't worry. Okay. So this is about the vBond. Then if I come to the vManage, so what is here? This is a management application. This is your management applications. Okay. So in the management plane, vManage represent the user interface of the solution. It performs network admin configuration, provisioning, troubleshooting, monitoring activities. So all of these kinds of things, who is responsible? The vManage is responsible for these kind of things. And basically vManage offers single and multi-tenant dashboard for a variety of customers. Okay. Then if I talk about vSmart, so basically this controller, using this one, what we do, vSmart is the brain of the solution. vSmart is the brain of the solution and exists within the product control plane. So what we do here, basically using vSmart, what we do, policies we create here on the okay, the policies we create on the vManage first of all, okay, and what the vSmart do, the vSmart is a component responsible for enforcing these policies centrally. Okay, so whenever the branches come online, their routing information is exchanged with the vSmart controller and not directly with other branches. So by using policies, routing information is influenced and shared with the other location, which determine how individual branches will communicate with each other. So what are these things we'll discuss, don't worry. Okay, so later we'll discuss how the edge device will communicate, will authenticate to this one. Okay, then what this device will do. So basically what happens here, this device will give information about the vManage, vSmart to vEdge device. Even vBond will let the device know to like the vSmart and vManage that someone is interested to join the domain. So these types of things they do, but yes, we'll discuss later, everything we'll discuss. Okay, now let me show you the next thing where we can deploy these things. So we have these things, vManage, vBond, vEdge, vSmart, right? Now, so you can see here the controller deployment. Okay, so where we can deploy, so we have two things. The first one on premises, the second one on cloud hosted, right? So if you want to deploy the controllers on premises, so what you should have EXSI server and KVM. So basically on these things, what we can do, we can deploy the servers, right? These things, vBond, vManage, vSmart, and vEdge devices. Okay, same here. On the cloud hosted, what we can do, first of all, we should have AWS or Azure, and then we can deploy these things, these controllers basically. Okay, the vBond, vManage, vSmart, so basically these are the smart devices. The vEdge will be the physical devices, right? Now, let's talk about the individual vBond, that is basically your orchestration plane. Okay. So in vBond basically, okay, so first of all in the vBond, like we have two things. Let me explain you, like this is a connection type where the devices will be using, the controllers will be using, the vBond, vManage, vSmart. So these controllers will be using a kind of connection, a secure connection. So we have two types of secure connection. Okay, the encrypted connection we can say. So one is your TLS, the second one is your DTLS. So if I talk about vBond, that always use DTLS only, that support DTLS only. If I talk about the vManage and vSmart, they can use DTLS or they can use TLS. Okay. Now, what is the full form of TLS and DTLS? Your TLS is Transport Layer Security. What is DTLS? Datagram. Datagram transport layer security. So we have two types of secure connection. So these both are encrypted connection. So what is the difference between this TLS and DTLS? If both are encrypted, so what is the difference between these two things? The difference is, let's say I'm using TLS. So what will happen here? So on the top of this one, so this will be having an application request. Let's say this is the application request. Then it will be having TLS. Then it will be having a TC. Then finally your IP header, then your link layer. So this will happen in the case of TLS only. Now, if I talk about DTLS, so that will be look like this: application request. The second one, DTLS. Now, the main thing, if I talk about the last one, that will be IP, that will be your link layer. So here it use UDP. So now, as you can see both things, right? So we have one main difference. In TLS, we are using TCP. In DTLS, we are using UDP. So if someone asks what TLS use or what is the difference between TLS and DTLS, so the main difference in between these two things, the TLS use TCP and the DTLS use UDP. Okay, so now in future, I'll be discussing the connection type. So at that time, I'll just say the TLS connection or DTLS connection. Okay, now the next thing. Now, in the vBond, basically what happens, let's say, first of all, as I told you, the vBond, the orchestration plane, will be responsible for the zero-touch provisioning, right? So we have two things here. One is ZTP, the other one is PNP. Now, what is ZTP or zero-touch provisioning? What is PNP? That is your plug and play. So now, right now, I'll just start the process, how they do these things. Okay. And then we will discuss later, we'll discuss the difference between ZTP and PNP. Basically, if I do a ZTP or I'll do a PNP, so how they will work or what are the things they will exchange in the background, those things we'll discuss later. But right now, we'll discuss the process of vBond using ZTP only. Okay. Now, your zero touch provisioning. Okay. So basically using automatic provisioning, ZTP or PNP process, the WAN edge routers. So now the WAN edge router. So basically if I'll talk about, first of all, we'll be having vBond. Okay. Then we'll be having vManage, vSmart, and then finally we'll be having vEdge, 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 vEdge. So let's say we have done the ZTP on the vEdge devices. So what they will do, the first thing, the very first thing, they will try to communicate to vBond. And now the question, how they will communicate, right? So that part I'll discuss in ZTP and PNP process, how they will communicate to vBond. Okay, so that part right now we'll skip. We'll discuss in the difference between ZTP and PNP. So the vEdge device will communicate to the vBond and they will try to authenticate. So right now, what will happen here? So this will be the very first authentication with vBond, if successful. And now, what will happen here? They both will be using, or vBond will be using a DTLS connection. So this vBond can only use DTLS type of connection or secure connection, we can say. Okay. So first of all, they will be doing authentication. If successful, what they will do, what the vBond will do, the vBond will send the IP address of vManage and vSmart to vEdge devices. So what will happen here? The first thing, first of all, they will do, first of all, we have to do a ZTP, right? The first thing is ZTP. Let me note down one by one process. So these things we should know, the main thing. The second thing, they will try to authenticate using DTLS connection. Okay. The third thing, if approved, if everything is fine, if authentication is done, what they will do, the vBond device will share the IP addresses of vManage and vSmart to vEdge, and one more thing here, this vBond will also share the information of vEdge to vManage and vSmart, that someone wants to join the domain. Okay, now, so someone like the vEdge routers, the vEdge routers, vEdge devices wants to join the domain, that's it. So these things will be shared here. So this was the very first step in the vBond. Okay, now the second thing, what will happen here? So these things we have done. Now let me remove this one. So these 4 steps we have done, right? Now in the second process, what will happen here? Now the vEdge, or we can say vEdge routers, from these routers. Okay, so the vEdge routers begins establishing a secure, this is the very first step. So this vEdge devices will try to make a secure DTLS or a TLS connection with vManage and with vSmart also. So this device will try to perform a connection with vManage and vSmart, and what will happen here now? Once the vEdge will be having a connection with vManage, what will happen here? The device will tear down the session with the vBond orchestration. So there's a first step, then it will tear down the vBond session, the encrypted session. Okay, so they will break the authentication with the vBond and will use this communication. Now, once they will happen, once they will be having these things, what will happen here? The vManage routers, these one, the vManage controller, will push the configuration of the vEdge router if available, right? So let's say we have some templates over there, right? So what will happen here? The vManage will push the configuration to the vEdge if available only. Okay, now this is the third step. The vManage will push the configuration to the edge devices. Now, in the second point, we have third step, three steps, right? With vManage. Now, we'll discuss what will happen with the vSmart. Okay. So till this point, we do not have any connection with vBond. We just have connection with vSmart and vManage. Okay. Now, so as I told you, the VH device will try to communicate, will try to establish secure DTLS or TLS connection with vManage vSmart. So the same thing. Okay. Now, basically they have the connection, right? What will happen here? Once authentication is done with vSmart, what will happen here? They will establish a OMP session. They both will establish a OMP session in between each other. And now what is the use of this OMP? And what is OMP basically? This is your overlay management protocol. So using this session, what they will do, they will try to start sending, or basically the VS devices will start learning prefixes, routes, service routes, encryption keys, and policies. Okay, so everything if they have, right? So whatever things they have, the vSmart have, right? The VS device will start learning these things. Okay, now the final thing. So here we have 1 or 2 steps with the vSmart, right? Now, the last point here, the VanEdge routers attempts to establish a BFD session, bidirectional forwarding, okay, to remote TLOC servers over each transport. What is TLOC server right now? I'll just explain. The devices will try to create a secure tunnel with these one IP segment we can say, and will enable the BFD. Okay. Now what is BFD? What are these things? We'll discuss later. Okay. So just remember this thing. What they use here, finally they create a BFD session, right? They will try to establish a BFD session to remote TLOC server to TLOC over each transport using IPsec, right? So finally they will be having a secure IPsec tunnel with each other, or we can say this will be a full mesh topology, full mesh IPsec topology. Okay. Now we'll discuss the difference between ZTP and PNP. As I told you, we'll be discussing the ZTP and PNP. So, and basically, once we use these devices, these controllers, right, we'll be having these steps. So these are the main, like we can see these are the primary steps that we should know, and the process and the protocols, the templates, and the behavior we should know, right? So in the SD1, basically, these are the main things, right? And the basics we should know. If we know the basics, so yes, the rest of things will be very easy, really. Okay. So now we'll discuss the difference between ZTP and PNP. Okay. Okay, so ZTP or PNP. So we have two things. One is your zero touch provisioning, and this one is your plug and play, right? So both are automated device provisioning method. Automated device provisioning. So if I talk about automatic device provisioning, so we have two methods. One is JET-TP, one is PNP. Now we'll discuss what is the difference. The first difference we'll discuss right now. So if I talk about vEdge devices, okay, so let's say we are doing automatic provisioning procedure for the vEdge devices. It means what we are doing here, we are doing a JET-TP, or if I talk about iOS XE SD-WAN devices, it means we are doing PNP. Okay, plug and play. So we have two services. One is JET-TP, one is PNP. Both are almost similar, but like we have two difference here. So the first difference, if we are doing automatic device provisioning for vEdge devices, so it means those are called as JET-TP, zero touch provisioning, or for iOS XE SD-WAN devices, so that is called as PNP. Now, we'll discuss the two different services are involved here. Those are involved in this JET-TP and PNP. Now, so let me start with JET-TP first. Now, so let's see. We have vEdge device, okay, and we have one server. So whenever we start this provisioning procedure on the vEdge devices, what happens whenever they boot up first time, the vEdge router attempts to connect to a JET-TP server. So this will be a JET-TP server with a host name. Now, what host name it will be using? That is jettp.viptela.com. So in the first case, what will happen here? The vEdge device will start communicating and will send a request to a JET-TP server with this domain. What will happen here? This server will redirect the information, like it will send information about the vBON orchestrator. Then what will happen? It will initiate a DTLS pairing with vBON, right? Then I told you like those things, the first step, second step, third step, fourth step, then again 3 steps, right? So the same way, it will create a session with vBON, right? Then the vBON, if the authentication is successful, the vBON will share the information about the vSmart and vManage to vEdge. Even to vManage and vSmart, it will share the information about the vEdge device, like someone wants to join the domain, and the whole process, what I told you. Okay, so this happens in the case of JET-TP. It means now, if I talk about the next the REST process, this one, right? So this process is same in both cases. If I talk about JET-TP and PNP, both are same. In JET-TP, the edge device, vEdge device will send a domain message with a to a domain jettp.viptela.com, and the JET-TP server will receive the packet and will redirect to a vBON orchestration. Okay. Now, so this is about the JET-TP. Now let's discuss the PNP. So this is your plug and play. Okay. What happens here? It will send a query, the same task it will do. So let's say we have iOS XE SD-WAN device. Okay. So basically it attempts to connect to PNP server using the host name. Again, it will be using a host name. So let's say we have this device. It will try to connect with PNP server right now again. So if I talk about the JET-TP, that had used domain that was jettp.viptela.com. So the query goes to that address, right? Same here, it will send a query to devicehelper.cisco.com, and the same process, the PNP server will redirect to this device to vBond orchestration, and then again the whole process will be same. Like they will do, first of all, the device, the edge device will create will do a first DTLS connection, like, right? So they both will create a secure connection, they will authenticate, they will share the information about the VEdge, about the vSmart and vManage, and then the policies will be posted if they have, right, the routing information, the other information, or we can say, like, it means if they have anything, they will exchange everything, right? So the rest of the process will be same. It means we have two key things. One, if that is ZTP, it means we are talking about VEdge, and the query goes to jettp.viptela.com, right? If that is PNP, if I talk about the PNP, it means we have iOS XE SD-WAN router, right? SD-WAN device. It will send to device helper.cisco.com, and the rest of the task will be same here in both cases. So this is all about ZTP and PNP. Now you have a good idea about the ZTP and PNP, how they works, what domain it choose in the background in ZTP and PNP, what devices they choose, what controller they will be using. It means like control. If I talk about the controller, that part is same for both things, right? Only these two things we have in this ZTP and PNP. Okay, now let's talk about the management plane. Management plane. This is your vManage. Okay. So basically, vManage is the Cisco SD-WAN centralized GUI that allows to manage the SD-WAN network from end to end from a single dashboard. Okay. So it has n numbers of features. Okay. So let's start. It provides highly resilient network. So using this one, what we can do a troubleshooting, we can monitor, right? It provide single and multi-tenant, right? And centralized provisioning. We do have templates and policies here, right? So about the template policies we'll discuss. We do a software upgrade, right? So we have these things in the vManage, right? So this vManage can do these kind of thing. Let's talk about the software upgrade, how they, like, what is the process, and what are the things that we have to check at the time of upgrade, right? What are the requirements to upgrade our device or that vManage. Okay. about software. When choosing software versions for the controller and WAN edge routers, ensure that all code versions are compatible. Okay, and while upgrading, so if I talk about the upgrade, so we have some steps to follow, right? So let's say we are doing upgrade in the um, network. Okay, so at that time we have to take care of 2 or 3 things. Okay, so let me note down those things. So the first step, what we do, upgrade and activate the vManage first. So this will be the very first step. Then upgrade and activate the half of the vBond orchestrator and let them run stable for a particular time. So the first step, we have to upgrade and activate the vManage first. Okay, then upgrade and activate half of the vBond orchestration and let them run stable for a particular time or a time gap, right? Before upgrading and activating the other half. So, and then we can we can upgrade and activate the other half also after that particular time. Okay, so that can be any like 24 hours, 12 hours. Okay, so for a particular time, what we do, we just try to run those things, right? If everything is stable, then we can upgrade the other half. Okay, so the third step, so this was for the vBond, upgrade and activate half of the vSmart control. Again, same thing. So in the vBond, what we did, activate half of the vBond, wait for some time for the stability, and then activate another half, right? Same here, upgrade and activate half of the vSmart controller and let them run for a stable time. Again, you can use 12 hours, 24 hours, and then you can upgrade the other half. Okay. Then break up the WAN edge routers into different upgrade group. So what we have to do here, we have to break up the WAN edge routers into different upgrade group. We can identify them with the tag. So using a tag, we can identify in the group filled in the templates. So we'll be having their templates, right? So using those templates, what we can do, we can identify them, right? Then target a test site or multiple test sites and put those WAN edge routers into the first upgrade group, right? And dual WAN edge sites put each other into a different upgrade group and do not upgrade both of them at the same time. But what we can do, parallelly, all WAN edge routers in an upgrade group can be upgraded parallelly up to 32 WAN edge devices. So parallelly, yes, we can upgrade up to 32 WAN devices, right? WAN edge devices. Then The next step. Upgrade and activate the first upgrade group and let the code run stable for a particular amount of time, right? Then proceed to upgrade the activation, upgrade and activate the additional upgrade groups. So same we have to do for other groups for a particular time. And then finally, this will be completed. Then we can also upgrade using a code image located on a remote file server. So this also we can do to upgrade a network. Okay. Now, earlier we discussed about the templates and policies, right? So let's talk about the template and policies. So to configure a vNedge device or controller on the network using a vManage GUI, an admin apply a device template to a vNedge router or multiple vNedge router to multiple vNedge router. So it can be a single, it can be multiple routers. So we use these things, right? So these templates can be CLI based or feature based. So while we create CLI based template, each device template is made up of several features. So those several features we'll discuss. So basically the template can describe the interface configuration, right? It can describe the tunnel configuration. It can describe the local routing behavior. So these things it can describe, right? So now let's talk about the component, what component we can have in the device template. Device template component. So if I talk about basic information, this section include systems, logins, AAA configuration, OMP, BFD. So what is BFD? We'll discuss, don't worry. Okay. So it can have security, it can have NTP feature templates, right? So these things this section can have. So logging, as I told you, right? It can have AAA, OMP, it can have BFD, it can have NTP feature template, it can have security too. Okay. Now the next thing, the next one is transport and management VPN. So basically this section includes the template used to configure VPN 0. So that is underlay, right? VPN 512 out of band management, which includes BGP, OSPF, VPN interface cellular, VPN interface GRE, VPN interface triple P, right? So these feature templates we can have in the case of, in the section of transport and management VPN. Then we have the third one, that is service VPN. So this section includes a template about the BGP, IGMP, any kind of services, right? IGMP, it can have multicast, it can have OSPF protocol, it can have EIGRP protocol, PIM also it can have, that's a part of multicasting. In multicasting we use PIM. It can have VPN interfaces, right? So, and DHCP, and yeah, these things it can have in the section of service VPN. Okay. The fourth one, that is cellular. So this section includes a template used to configure the cellular or T1 even controller, right? And then finally, we can have additional template. So this section includes a banner and SNMP, bridge, localized policy, security policy template. So these things this can have. So these things we have done in device template component, right? So what we have done till this point, we have done the management plane, right? Now, if I talk about the vSmart device, so let's talk about the vSmart device and the main properties, characteristics of the vSmart device. Okay, so this was all about the vManage. vSmart. So this is your control plane, right? So facilitates fabric discovery. Okay. Discriminates control plane information between VH devices, right? It distributes data plane and app aware routing policies to the VH router. Okay, and implements control plane policies. It reduces control plane complexity. So these are the features in vSmart. Okay, and that's it. Now we'll discuss the vEdge, but before this one, let me show you one slide. So in that one, basically we can see the hierarchy, or we can see like in the top of the page, we'll be having the vBone, then we'll be having the vManage, then we'll be having the vSmart, then vEdge. So that slide will show you how these devices will be connected and how they will form, right? So, okay. So this is the Cisco SDN solution overview, right? So first of all, what we have vBone. So this will be here. The very first point to authenticate from these edge devices, right? Then we have management plane. These are the vManage devices. Then we have vSmart devices. Those are control plane, right? So, okay. And then we have our data plane devices, right? So as I told you, once we do a JET-TP or PNP, what they will do, they will initiate a connection to vBone, that is a JTLS connection, right? Will initiate, will authenticate, then the vBone will give the information about the vManagement and vControl to these devices, and same about vEdge, it will share the information to these devices, and then this device, the VH device, will start communicating using DTLS or TLS with vManage and vSmart, and will break the connection with a vBone. And then the rest of the configuration, like the routing, the policies, the templates, they will push the the required configuration, or we can say those configuration what they have, to this one. And finally, these VH devices will be using TLOC, right? So TLOC is nothing, that is your transport locator. Okay, so using this one, these devices will try to configure IPsec in between each other, right? That will be kind of full mesh with each branch, campus, data center, everything. Okay, so this is the solution overview. So this kind of, whenever we deploy the thing, so in the same way we deploy these things. Okay, now let's discuss the final, that is VH. Okay, so about the VH, what is TLOC, what is BFD. So these things we'll discuss now. So in the VH, basically it contains n numbers of things, right? One, we have TLOC, transport locator, right? And we have OMP. So finally the edge devices, once they connect to vSmart, they create a OMP session, right? Overlay management protocol. This is your overlay management protocol. IPsec will come in the picture, right? V routes, okay, those are Viptela routes, and these supports JTP, okay, zero touch provisioning. So that is actually the first step, right? And BFD also. So now we'll discuss about these things. Okay, so one by one we'll discuss these things. So first of all, let's start with the TLOC. So what is this one? This is your transport locators. These are the attachment points where a WAN edge routers connects to the WAN transport network. Okay, so a TLOC is uniquely identified and represented by 3 tuples. Now, what are those 3 tuples? So using those, these will be doing a connection. Okay, so the first one we can say that is system IP address and colors. This is the main role, the colors. Okay, and finally the encapsulation. So this can be GRE or IPsec encapsulation. Okay, so we can use here GRE, generic routing encapsulation. We can use here IPsec. Okay, now, so basically TLOC routes are advertised to vSmart via OMP, as I told you. Okay, so along with a number of attributes, including the private and public IP addresses and port numbers associated with each TLOC, as well as color and encryption keys. So about the color keys we'll discuss. So these TLOC routes with their attributes are distributed to other WAN edge routers. Okay, now let's talk about what are those colors and how we can differentiate these things. Okay, so transport locators we have done. Colors. So colors are, okay, so let me show you first of all one slide for this one. Okay, so here we have the slide right now. Let me just remove this one. Okay, so let's discuss about these things. So we'll be having some private colors, some public colors. Okay, so if you can see in this diagram, if I talk about the internet, right? So these colors will be the public, and if I talk about the MPLS network, so those will act as the private. Okay, so we have some codings here. Okay, So colors are abstraction used to identify individual WAN transport that terminates on WAN edge devices, right? So whenever they will terminate, so if that is MPLS, that is internet. So we will identify using some information, using some codes. Those are public or private, right? So colors are significant because they have they identify as individual transport as either public or private, right? So the colors, if I talk about this is a code we can see: Metro Ethernet, MPLS, private 1, private 2, private 3, private 4, private 5, private 6. Okay, so these are considered as private color. So they are intended to be used for a private network or in a place where we are not using any NAT kind of configuration, right? So let's say we are accessing some servers or we are doing any task, right? And the traffic does not NAT. So at that time, if I talk about the colors, so at that time we'll be using the private colors, right? So these are the private colors. So if I talk about this MPLS, so yes, definitely here I'll be using private colors. Okay. Now, the public colors. So these are 3G, beige internet, blue, bronze, custom 1, custom 2, custom 3, default, gold, green, LTE, public internet, red, and silver also, right? So these things indicates the public network, right? So or a place where we are using NAT kind of configuration or we are using public addresses, right? So that kind of media or that kind of communication, the public communication, these are the public colors. Okay, so using these things, what we can do, we can identify, we can differentiate this is the public color or the private color, right? So in Taillock, yes, we have these things, right? The address type, the system IP address, the colors we have, right? So these things we have. Now, so these are the things that we have about the colors. Okay. Now it has IPsec also, right? So I told you about the IPsec WAN edge routers secure data traffic exchange between them using IPsec with encryption keys, which encrypt the data and decrypt the data, right? So this is the common term about the IPsec, right? About the vRoute, VPTILA routes, right? We have OMP, over limiting protocol. Now the main thing that we have here, BFD. So finally, what the edge devices does, basically this is your bidirectional forwarding. So on Cisco WAN edge routers, BFD is automatically started between peers and cannot be disabled. Yeah. So it runs between all WAN edge routers in the topology encapsulated in the IPsec tunnel. So whenever they will initiate the tunnel, so the same way in the same topology, they will be using BFD communication, the BFD process they will be using across all the transport. Okay. So BFD operates in the echo mode. Okay, which means when BFD packets are sent by a WAN edge router, the receiving WAN edge router returns them without processing them. Okay, its purpose is to detect path liveliness, and it can also perform quality measurement for applications aware routing like loss, jitter, latency, right? Now, what is tunnel liveliness? So we have this term here, tunnel liveliness. So basically to detect whether an IPsec tunnel is up or down, okay, BFD hello packets are sent in every 1000 milliseconds, or we can say 1 second by default, on every tunnel interface. So this is the default timer. Okay. So the default BFD multiplier is 7, which means the tunnel is declared down after 7 consecutive hello are missed. Okay. And BFD packets are marked with DHCP 48-bit. So whenever they send BFD packets, so those are marked as DHCP 48. So I hope you are aware with these values, DHCP values, right? So we use these values to mark the traffic, to set the priority to the traffic, right? So which is equivalent to CS6, that is class selector 6, or IP precedence value 6. So packets are placed in the low latency, high priority QoS queue, okay, that is LLQ, low latency queue, before being transmitted on the wire. So with this one, they use LLQ, low latency queue, okay, before being transmitted on the wire. So these DSP values can be modified using an egress ACL on the WAN interface. Okay, so yes, that they can be modified, right? And that's it. So this is about the BFD. So basically we have this BFD just to check the tunnel is up or down, the IPsec tunnel is up or down, right? So the default timer is 1 second. So after every 1 second, they will send a BFD hello packet to the neighbor, right? And the multiplier is 7. So it means if the device is not getting the packet after 7 consecutive hello, if the 7 consecutive hello are lost, right? So in that case, the devices seems like the tunnel is down, and they will declare that tunnel is down. So this is the use of BFD. Okay. Now we do have one more thing here to discuss. So now we can discuss manage platform type, capabilities of vEdge, cEdge, vEdge and cEdge. I hope you are aware with these things. vEdge, cEdge, I told you these things, right? vEdge is your Viptela edge devices, and cEdge your Cisco edge devices, right? So the Cisco edge driven solution can be deployed on a number of different platforms, right? Commonly called WAN edge routers, so which are available in different form factor. So the WAN edge routers can be used in either the branch, campus, data center, public cloud, or a private cloud, right? So regardless of which deployment is chosen, all WAN edge routers will be a part of SD-WAN overlay fabric and vManaged through vManage. Like, yeah, we managed all the devices using vManage controller. Okay, so there are two types of platform. There can be deployed as part of Cisco SD-WAN. Okay, those are, the first platform is your hardware platform, right? So the second one is your virtual platform. So in this one, Cisco, yeah, like, okay, in this platform, which routers we can deploy using, those are Viptela OS. Those will be running Viptela OS, right? And those will be like integrated service router, ISR routers, that is 1000 series, 4000 series, running iOS XE SD-WAN software. And so let me note down here, vEdge routers running Viptela OS, right? And ISR 1000 series, 4000 series, running iOS XE SD-WAN software, right? And even ASR 1000 series, again running iOS XE SD-WAN software, right? So these are the hardware platform. If I talk about virtual platform, so we have CSR 1000V running with iOS XE SD-WAN software, right? Or VH Cloud Router running with TelaOS, right? So virtual platform can be deployed on Cisco x86 compute platform, for example, the enterprise network compute system, ENSC 5000 series, the UCS servers, we can use unified computing system, right? And cloud service platform, we can use CSP 5000 series. So virtual platform can also run on any x86 device using a hypervisor such as KVM or VMware ESXi. Okay, so these are the about of these things like hardware and virtual platform. So what we have done today, we have done the SD-WAN architecture and component. So in the next slide, like we'll be discussing how we can deploy the vManage, vSmart, vBond. So those things, the lab part we'll do in the next class. Okay.